Straight ahead on 12 News, local fingerprints on the new home of the Minnesota Vikings.
The architecture is very unique.
12 News gives you a tour, plus the Zika virus and the impact on travel, how local travel agents are handling it and what doctors are saying. But first, what the authorities call a horrific act of domestic violence. 12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. We are learning new details about Friday night's deadly shootings in Plymouth.
28-year-old Tricia Nelson died from multiple injuries sustained in an apparent domestic dispute. Her body was found near the busy intersection of Rockford Road and Northwest Boulevard. Authorities and witnesses say Nelson was shot and run over in a vehicle driven by her boyfriend. Nelson's boyfriend, Corey Perry, fled to the Stoneleigh Apartments where there was an exchange of gunfire with police. Investigators have not said if police killed Perry or if he killed himself. Today, reporter Sonia Goins talked with the victim's sister and an attorney representing Perry's family. She has more insight on the Friday night of violence.
A memorial at the intersection of Rockford Road and Northwest Boulevard is a somber reminder of the violence that unfolded on Friday night.
Somebody was shot and then ran over. They're laying in a snowbank, and the vehicle left at a high rate of speed.
Tricia Nelson had just picked Corey Perry up from a bar in Uptown before the shootings took place.
First, you don't want to believe it, and you're numb, and you're in shock.
Tricia's older sister, Tanya Furry, says the family is in a lot of pain.
My sister had an amazing soul, an amazing heart.
She says Tricia loved animals and often rescued abused pets. She also modeled and loved to get tattoos and piercings.
To look at her on the outside, it's so easy to go, oh, that's different, and that's not what we normally see. Her heart was bigger on the inside than anybody's I've ever met.
Tricia's family says there was a darker side to her life, that she was in an abusive relationship. They say she and Perry were together for about 6 years.
And I think hers is the classic example how domestic violence starts so small and so slow. It starts at that level of control.
I think he just completely lost it, and why, I guess we'll never know.
Attorney Mike Patton is speaking for Perry's family.
There was nothing in my dealings with him that led me to the conclusion that he was capable of something like this.
He says Perry suffered from mental illness.
He had been diagnosed as bipolar and a couple of other mental health diagnoses.
As the investigation into the shootings continues, two families are grieving the loss of their loved ones.
They love Tricia and they feel horrible about the fact that she lost her life.
I would like her to be remembered as somebody with a huge, loving soul.
Tricia's family says she and Corey were engaged, but Tricia called off the wedding 2 years ago. Meanwhile, officials are trying to determine how Corey got a gun. As a convicted felon, he wasn't supposed to legally possess firearms. Mike, the last time Plymouth had a homicide/suicide was back in 2014.
All right, Sonia, thank you. Well, 2 of 3 Plymouth police officers who responded to the apartment complex sustained non-life-threatening injuries. One of the officers was shot in the back, but his bullet-resistant vest protected him from more serious injury. The second officer's injuries were not specified. Plymouth Public Safety Director Mike Goldstein said over the weekend that the injured officers will be fine.
The training that we have done regionally within the metropolitan area paid dividends as the officers came prepared and were used good tactics to stay safe, and were able to help end the encounter without any other civilians being harmed.
The officers are on paid administrative leave, which is standard procedure. We're also learning more about the suspect who was killed. Corey Perry was a conceal and carry permit holder until 2014, when he was convicted of making terroristic threats outside a Hopkins bar and was no longer allowed to have weapons. His attorney, Mike Patton, was appealing that conviction, calling it, quote, ridiculous. On the night of the shootings, Perry had a rifle, a handgun, and was wearing a tactical vest with multiple magazines of ammunition. Police also found several weapons at Perry's apartment, including an assault rifle.
Controlling behavior in a relationship can be a red flag for domestic violence.
When someone is inseparable and unable to be apart, then it can be a sign of obsession or possession. Power and control is the crux of domestic violence.
In honor of Tricia Nelson, the Minnesota Coalition for Battered Women and more than 500 others will raise the Live Free Without Violence flag today. That flag will be flown for a week. Domestic violence can mean emotional, financial, or verbal abuse, and friends and family can play an important role in offering help.
You should just show up for that person. You should be available to them and listen to them without judgment. Provide them resources, but most of all, be there for them.
There were 34 homicides in Minnesota last year due to domestic violence. Anyone experiencing abuse in any form should contact the Day One crisis hotline. That number is 866-223-1111.
Charges are filed against an assisted senior living worker accused of fraudulently using the credit cards of an elderly Crystal man. Viveka Herring worked at Heather's Manor, where police say she took credit cards from a man on hospice care. The man's family discovered the fraud. Herring is accused of making fraudulent purchases that added up to more than $1,000. Heather's Manor helped police make the arrest. The new Minnesota Vikings stadium is scheduled to open in just a few months.
And some local companies have played a big role in building the stadium. Eric Nelson gives us a tour.
When it opens in July of 2016, it'll be 16 years the team worked on this. So
building U.S. Bank Stadium has been a colossal effort.
That's been a great project, a lot of fun.
Today, the Twin Cities media got a sneak peek at the largest public works project in Minnesota history.
July 29, they hand off the keys to us. About 90% complete.
A couple of Northwest Metro area companies have their fingerprints all over this facility.
You know, the architecture is very unique.
Including Golden Valley-based Mortensen.
They're a great company, and they've done an outstanding job, and they've not been intimidated by our weather. They can build major projects, major stadiums.
Which is in charge of construction.
We're at a great point right now and trying to get the job wrapped up and done, and there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we're looking forward to getting done in July.
U.S. Bank Stadium will have all the bells and whistles.
This is by far the biggest club. It's called the Hyundai Club. It's about 30,000 square feet and will hold about 4,000 folks.
There are purple seats, gigantic video boards, luxurious clubs, and a signature glass roof. For Mortensen, the facility goes down as a crowning achievement.
Definitely one of my own for sure, and definitely as a company too.
Another Northwest Metro company that's had a huge impact here at U.S. Bank Stadium is Wells out of Maple Grove. They have built the bones of the venue. Wells Concrete is a major part of U.S. Bank Stadium's infrastructure.
We're really happy with the work that Wells is doing on the concrete with the seats and the work they've done.
When the Minnesota Vikings finally move into their Purple Palace, local companies can brag they helped get them there.
This is a $1.08 billion project, and 90% of those dollars are staying in Minnesota with companies like Wells and Mortensen and all the subcontractors.
In Minneapolis, I'm Eric Nelson, Channel 12 News.
Mortensen Construction has worked on many sports projects around the U.S. and is currently involved in the Golden State Warriors' new arena out in San Francisco. Coming up, the latest on the Zika virus, how it's affecting local travel agents.
And then a bit later in sports, small school power Maranatha meets Wayzata in a good girls basketball matchup.
But first, a forecast that is warming up. Wednesday, however, will stay below freezing. We'll be right back.
Well, during these dog days of winter, travel agents say they've been busy helping Minnesotans plan their spring break getaways.
But there is one issue that is raising a lot of questions for people looking to vacation south of the border. In today's Health Check, Delane Cleveland has more on what you should know about the Zika virus.
On an overcast February day,
we're coming up to the really busy season for spring break this year.
Agents from Travel Leaders in Maple Grove say Minnesotans are planning escapes to places of warmth and sunshine.
Always popular are Mexico, the Caribbean, Hawaii is very popular this year.
But Travel Leaders Director of Sales and Marketing Nora Bloom says the threat of Zika virus in Mexico and South America, particularly for women who are pregnant or looking to become pregnant, has people concerned.
We have had a couple of customers call and ask questions. Most of them have continued on with their plans. There have been a few, because they are in that small segment of the population that are pregnant, who have decided to change their destination or postpone travel.
Travel agents aren't the only ones getting questions about Zika virus.
So we've been getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of questions about what to do from pregnant women, but also just, patients in general.
Dr. Megan Shaughnessy of HCMC says the Zika virus,
they're usually relatively mild symptoms, but often fevers, joint pains, headaches,
which is spread mostly by mosquitoes, has gotten increased attention because it has shown up in parts of the world where it hadn't been found previously, and because of the possible link to serious birth defects.
I would recommend that that if a woman is pregnant, that they talk with their doctor, potentially be seen in a travel clinic to get appropriate advice, and consider postponing their trip if possible, particularly if they're early in the first trimester of their pregnancy.
A word of warning for people looking to escape the clutches of old man winter. But by and large, travel agents say it's mostly business as usual.
Yet people are proceeding with plans as usual and enjoying the beautiful destinations of Mexico and the Caribbean over the spring break.
For Health Check, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Doctors say if you are planning to travel to areas where the Zika virus is present, protect yourself with insect repellent. Meanwhile, it's also possible for people to spread Zika virus through sexual activity. However, there is disagreement in the medical community about how long the virus remains in bodily fluids, so there are no set guidelines as to how long someone should abstain from sexual activity. Coming up, free soup for you. We will explain in just a little bit.
But first in sports, Maple Grove battles Centennial for a section championship in girls hockey. John Jacobson is in next. A real breakthrough for the Maple Grove girls hockey team. They have been close, but never there before.
A lot of teams in the past almost making it, and this one finally breaking through. They have been close a few times, but the Maple Grove girls hockey team had never qualified for a state tournament, heading into their Section 5AA title matchup with the Centennial Cougars. Centennial strikes first as Maya Olmec makes a strong rush up the left side and puts his shot away. 1-0 Cougars after one period. But Taylor Wente takes over from there. Wente with a good move, buries a wrist shot on a power play. Just over a minute later, Wente on a short-handed rush scores to give Maple Grove a 2-1 lead. Late in the second period, Lauren Kaufman misfires on the shot attempt but stays with it. Her wraparound goes off a Cougar's stick and in. Coach Amber Hagelin and the Crimson lead at 3-1 after two. Maple Grove goes on to win its first ever section title. 4-1 is the final. The Crimson earned the number 4 seed in the state Class AA tournament, and they face Lakeville South in the quarterfinals at 8 o'clock Thursday night at the XL Energy Center. The Wayzata girls hockey team split its 2-game regular season series with Edina. The team's third meeting came in the Section 6AA final. Hornets score early in the second period. Olivia Kilberg chipping in on the rebound. 1-0 Edina. And they strike again late in the period. Molly Meyer with a wrist shot top corner. It's 2-0 after two. Early third period. Leah Fiddler to Sophia Slattery for the goal. 3-0 Edina. Kilberg will take a long pass and go in on a power play breakaway and gives Edina a 5-0 lead. Hornets add one more and they are section champions. 6-0 the final. Breck has earned the top seed for the upcoming Section 2A boys hockey playoffs. Mustangs in their regular season finale faced rival Blake. It's Breck's Will Blake bouncing off a couple of checks. Pass gets out. And then it's defenseman Brandon Leaks scoring. 1-0 Mustangs. Will Blake behind the net. Chase Ellingson in front and scores. 2-0 Breck after one. They blow it open in the second period. Austin Heidemann, his first shot blocked. Gets another chance. He'll put it away for a 3-0 Mustangs lead. Will Blake leaves a great pass back for Ellingson and another Mustangs goal. Breck scores 6 goals in the second period on the way to a 9-1 win. Here's a look at the seedings in Section 5AA and 6AA. In 6AA, Benilde St. Margaret's is the top seed. Wayzata is second with Edina and Cretin-Derham Hall third and fourth. Hopkins is the fifth seed, while Armstrong Cooper is seventh. The quarterfinals are this Thursday with Benilde hosting Holy Angels. Armstrong Cooper is at Wayzata and Hopkins plays at Cretin. The semifinals are Saturday with the section final next Wednesday. Blaine is the #1 seed in Section 5AA. Centennial is second, followed by Anoka and Maple Grove. Champlin Park is sixth, and Osseo seventh. In the quarterfinals Thursday, there are 2 games in Champlin and 2 at Coon Rapids. Maple Grove plays Spring Lake Park in the early game at Champlin. At Coon Rapids Ice Center, Osseo plays Centennial at 6, followed by Champlin Park and Anoka at 8. The 5AA semifinals are Saturday at the Champlin Ice Forum. It was big school versus small school in girls basketball Saturday when Class 4A's Wayzata faced Class 1A's Maranatha Christian Academy. First half highlights, Wayzata on the break. Annie Robertson scores on the layup to give the Trojans an early lead. Elena Jarnett has a huge game for the Mustangs. This 3 part of a 29-point game for the Mustangs senior guard. Mimi Schrader hits one of 7 first-half threes for the Trojans. This game goes to halftime tied at 42-all. Second half, Hannah Hiring takes the pass above the block, turns and scores. She scores 19 points to lead a balanced scoring attack. The Trojans pull away in the second half, and they beat Maranatha 84-69. And that's a look at sports for today.
All right, thanks a lot, John.
Welcome.
Still ahead, a Plymouth restaurant's way of warming up to customers.
We'll be right back. And finally, Seinfeld introduced the soup Nazi into popular culture when its main characters were, remember this, denied a bowl of soup?
Sure do. How could you forget? In Plymouth, though, there's a popular deli spot known for their homemade soups, and they decided to dish up soup for free.
Chicken wild rice. Chicken wild rice for here, please.
The line formed quickly at Dufner's Deli as the Plymouth lunch spot served up free cups of chicken wild rice and beef vegetable soup. The restaurant has been around for 31 years, but owners Raj and Stacy Kumar are celebrating 3 years since they bought the family business. They prepared 40 gallons of soup to say thank you to all of their loyal customers and also invite new ones to join in too.
I don't know who they are. New customer, old customer, I didn't ask them who you are. No, you know, soup, please get in the line, get your soup, and we have plenty of it today.
Soup
I'm not
for
worried.
you,
Soup
right?
for you, that's it, yeah.
Dufner's is expected to serve 400 free cups of soup today. So just the 2 kinds today, but they have many more homemade recipes that had around for 31 years over there in Plymouth. Free soup, and it was good. We tried them all. That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
We'll see you back here again tomorrow.